This is the 2014 NSCAA College Soccer Preview, putting the spotlight on NCAA Division I Women's Soccer preseason rankings and the 2014 MAC Hermann watch list. And it comes to you right now, right here on NSCAA TV. And what an amazing year it was for Amanda Cromwell and the UCLA Bruins, getting an overtime goal in the 97th minute from Cody Lavruski. The assist to Megan Oyster to knock off Mark Krikorian and the Florida State Seminoles by a score of 1-0. They're still celebrating in Westwood under their new head coach, Amanda Cromwell. Let's take a look at how it broke down in the Final Four. You see there Florida State knocking off Virginia Tech actually by a score of 3-2, and UCLA sliding by Virginia, Amanda Cromwell's alma mater, and then knocking off Florida State by a score of 1-0. Hello, everybody. I am Dean Linke, proud to be the voice of the NSCAA and proud to be with you once again from the Continental Tire Studios right here in Chapel Hill as we bring you the NSCAA preseason rankings and the 2014 MAC Hermann watch list. Let's take a look at what's coming up right here on this special program. You see it right there. Legendary UNC coach Anson Dorrance will be live to break down the top 25 and the aforementioned 2014 MAC Hermann watch list. A little later on, former Davidson head coach Charlie Slago will come in to break down the 20-game Division I package that'll be featured right here on NSCAA TV. Legendary probably doesn't even do justice describing Anson Dorrance. 22 national championships, 26 college cups, 20 ACC tournament titles, 19 National Players of the Year, and we'll show you that list as well of former MAC Hermann Award winners. But better yet, we'll show you the man in the present. Anson Dorrance is here at the Continental Tire Studios. And Anson, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Dean, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm looking forward to the season, and I like the package you guys have put together. This should be fun.
I appreciate that. And, of course, you're used to celebrating, but the celebration this year, Amanda Cromwell, what a job she did coming over from UCF.
Yeah, she did, and now I'm regretting writing that recommendation for her. Amanda played for me on the national team, just an incredible player, and honestly, her teams play the way she did. She was a very gritty, competitive kid, and she's brought that into her teams and did a wonderful job in her first year at UCLA.
Before we get to the top 25, a couple questions leading in. First off, Anson Dorrance, it's been so competitive now at the Division I level for women. Talk about the growth of Division I soccer for women.
Yeah, it has been. It's been phenomenal. And honestly, it's the job our youth coaches have done to help us develop this game. And what's interesting now, in the old days, 15, 20 years ago, if we would play a team outside the top 25, we wouldn't see a player on the roster that we thought could break in for us. Now, we can see teams in the top 75 that wouldn't just have one or two, but have 3 or 4 players that could break into our starting lineup. And the average elite player, if you can use that sort of destructive phrase, is now can beat anyone. We're playing teams in the top 50, and they have players all over their roster that can play anywhere in the country. And so every team now has these incredible players available to them, and it's a credit to the growth of the game in this country, actually the growth of the game in Canada as well, because we certainly, all of us recruit Canada. And I think the collegiate women's game right now is very, very healthy.
Real quickly, of course, the level is great all over the country, but in the ACC, you saw 3 ACC teams in the Final Four last year.
Yes, and I apologize to my colleagues. We were a number 1 seed and we were taken out, but to UCLA's credit, perhaps they should have been a number 1 seed based on the way they played all season, but also certainly in their march to their championship, taking out 3 number 1 seeds en route. They just had an incredible team, and they're certainly to be congratulated. And so are my colleagues. The conference this past year was an absolute nightmare to compete in. There are so many great teams out there and so many extraordinary players. It was a privilege to compete in the ACC this past fall.
Well, we're honored to have you with us here. Let's take a look now at the NSCAA Continental Tire preseason top 25. It's so hard to do this, Anson, but these are what the coaches picked, and as usual, they picked the reigning champion. It's UCLA.
And they should. UCLA returns a very deep roster. They return, I think, 9 starters. from an exceptional national champion, so they should be in the driver's seat. I like the fact that Florida State and Virginia are also up there in the top 4, and I think Virginia Tech should be. I know for some reason we're there in the top 4. We shouldn't be. I think Virginia Tech and what they've built there over the last few years is incredible. I think their team is going to be strong again. We lost 6 kids into the different pro leagues, and we should not remain top 4. Still, Florida State, they have a transfer coming in from Vandy. They'll be able to stretch defenses. The only thing lacking from last year's Florida State team was this speed up top. They've got an extraordinary midfield, and that returns intact. They do lose some elite defenders, so they've got to reconstruct a bit there, but I know Mark will do a great job. Virginia, best player in college soccer, Morgan Bryant. She will also be the best this year, barring an injury. Doniak up front, that might be the best combination in college soccer. Basically, Bryant getting the ball, finding Doniak either finishing or actually bringing it back to Bryant, who could also finish incredibly well. But also fleshing out more of the top 10. Stanford, every single recruiting class at Stanford is first class. I love what Greg Ryan has done at Michigan. He's been building that program. He's an excellent coach. He's proved it everywhere he's gone, including the U.S. team when he was coaching the national team for the United States. Florida has an outstanding roster. If their kid catches fire again, Savannah Jordan, they could also go anywhere with their roster. Texas A&M, Shea Groom, we saw her last year in the NCAA tournament. That has to be one of the top players in college soccer as well. She could also take Texas A&M to an extraordinary season. Jerry Smith at Santa Clara, his history and success from the beginning is extraordinary. He's got a talented roster coming back, so they could also challenge.
And he gets the lifetime contract. You got the lifetime contract yet, Anson?
No, I went in and spoke to Bubba Cunningham, my athletic director, and I didn't, talk about Jerry Smith, but I was thinking, this is incredible. But, Jerry has earned it. He's paid his dues, and, maybe one of these days, the University of North Carolina will actually give me a contract. Right now, I could be dismissed at any second, so maybe I should go in there and ask for a contract.
I think you're okay. Let's roll to 11 through 20 and get more insight from Anson Dorrance. There's Portland at number 11, always very good.
Yes, they are very good. And what's cool about what's happening out in Portland is there is a community that really supports the game. I turned on the TV the other night, and all of a sudden you've got almost 20,000 watching the Portland Thorns play professional soccer. Well, we've got to give the University of Portland credit for that, because they built these crowds when Clive Charles was there, building the program, and obviously his successors have taken over and also done a tremendously extraordinary job developing that team. But what I love about Portland is the atmosphere in their games. They've got an incredible stadium. And I'm sure that's a team that'll be a team to be reckoned with in the NCAA tournament. West Virginia, they had a defender that, in my opinion, was one of the best, if not the best, in college soccer last year. We played him last year, and I think this kid might already be starting on the Canadian full team, although I think they're borrowing her for this U20 World Championship.
Nikki Izzo Brown does a great job finding Canadian players.
Absolutely, and they were an excellent team last year. And it's good to see Nebraska back. I love what they've done up there. I love the coaching staff, and I think to see them back in it is great. I was recruiting, and all of a sudden I saw this incoming freshman for South Carolina. I'm thinking, holy cow, how did we miss even seeing this player? And I think they'll have a freshman starter for them up front that'll be very dangerous.
Shelby Smith doing a great job at South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I can't believe we've got Notre Dame, Texas Tech, and Duke and Boston College this far down. Marquette, always a handful to play against. But I can't believe those teams are ranked so low in the top 20. And honestly, I didn't see Georgetown last year. But I want to shout out to Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Duke, and Boston College. Their rosters are deep. Their coaches are talented. And there's no way, in my opinion, those teams should be so low.
When you look at that, West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Boston College will be featured this year on live games on NSCAA TV as well. All right, Anson, let's take a look at the final 5 here, the NSCAA Continental Tire Top 25.
Yeah, now obviously Wake Forest, another formidable foe in the ACC. I think maybe the reason people dropped them is because of the graduation of Stengel, who is one of the greatest strikers ever coming out of the ACC. And maybe that's why people drop them. But trust me, they always do a great job there, and I think they'll be able to take some pieces out of the top 10. BYU, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I always root for BYU, even though a couple of years ago we had to go through them in Provo to get to the Final Four.
That was a great game, by the way.
And that was a great game, and honestly, we were lucky to win it. Cut Shaw, one of the best defenders we saw that year, actually carved my entire defense. And if she had scored the open goal, they would have been in the Final Four. We would have been eliminated, so they've got a fine team.
Jennifer Rockwood does a great job. Another former Tar Heel leading UCF. What a great debut season.
Absolutely. And you know what? She's an incredible recruiter, a great coach. She's fun to be around. She's going to continue to build that program. And again, no way Penn State should be this low in the rankings. Again, a wonderful coaching staff, excellent players. I can't believe they're going to stay just 24. I think they will continue to climb. And again, I don't know much about Denver, and I can't really respond to it.
But Erica Walsh, you're right, will be there. And Tiffany Roberts-Sahadic is the player that played for Anson Dorrance and a great player as well for the U.S. national team. Top 25 will bring Anson back in here. Anson, here's the deal now. We asked for predictions. You're not allowed to pick the North Carolina Tar Heels, but give us your top 2 teams that you think will be there in the end.
Well, certainly UCLA. Their roster is extraordinary. A couple of my kids played with some of their kids in a team that won, I think, the W League championship this summer. And they were talking about how great these UCLA players were. So I think they have an opportunity. And then honestly, it's based on what happens between Morgan Bryan and Doniak. I think Virginia could be there. Obviously, Swanee's got to reconstruct his defense a bit. But he's always been very good at that. So I think the combination between Morgan Bryan, who will clearly be the top collegiate player in the country, maybe that sort of chemistry can do it. Florida State. They'll be able to stretch defenses now. They've got this fast kid coming in, a transfer from Vandy, that can give them a final piece in their attack. But he's going to have to also reconstruct his defense. And so I think it'll be UCLA against one of those two, Florida State or Virginia.
Very good teams. We're here with Anson Dorrance, and I'll tell you what, though, the Tar Heels, they open up with Stanford on August 22nd, and then the Ohio State Buckeyes just a couple days later. I mean, what a brutal schedule to start.
And then we fly out to UCLA to play them on their home field. So, yeah, I can't believe who did our schedule. I'm going to have to check with the staff and find out who was constructing that schedule exactly. But honestly, the reason for this is we want to get better. We want to be good by the time the NCAA tournament rolls around. Obviously, pieces taken out of us early can be reconstructed. We're very proud of the fact that we helped build UCLA's national championship team. We were the only team to beat them last year, and I think we helped them a bit. Maybe some of these teams that might take us out early might help us out a bit. So there is a method to our scheduling madness.
That indeed is the case, as Carolina beat UCLA last year, and the Bruins came in here right before the College Cup to knock off the Tar Heels as well. Anson Dorrance is going to stick with us. He mentioned Morgan Bryan. She won the Mac Hermann Trophy a year ago, and as you take a look at her here, she is the odds-on favorite to win again, and also getting plenty of play as well with the U.S. national team. A fantastic player. We will break down with Anson Dorrance the 2014 Mac Hermann preseason watch list right here on NSCAA TV. Don't go away.
The NSCAA convention to me is probably the best place to get any sort of education of a wide variety that you can go in the world.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm ready to go on.
Super excited.
Pretty excited.
Oh, super excited, yes. Now I'm excited to just be a part of it and experience it all, take it all in.
You watch the match live. You road trip to the away games. You rise and fall with every run. Above all, you live your love of the game. Whatever you do, get there with Continental Tires and improve your grip with extreme contact traction.
Continental Tire, for what you do.
At Lumber Liquidators, we buy direct from the mills, giving us an incredible selection of hardwood floors at unheard-of prices. Right now, choose from over 150 hardwoods on sale, including popular White Plank Prefinished Red Oak for just $179. Red Oak makes it gorgeous, White Plank makes it stylish, and we've got it for 55% less than other stores. Plus, get an amazing 20% off our best laminate and vinyl flooring. Incredible deals on beautiful bamboo, hardwood, and laminate, and 12-month special financing. Hurry at these unbelievable sale prices. These deals won't last long, so get to your local Lumber Liquidators now.
Welcome back to the 2014 NCAA Division I preseason rankings, as well as the 2014 Mac Hermann watch list. And of course, Morgan Bryant took home the hardware a year ago from the good folks at the Missouri Athletic Club, and the odds-on favorite, as we said earlier, to win it again. She stars for Steve Swanson and the Virginia Cavaliers. And as we bring back Anson Dorrance, the head coach of the UNC with 22 national championships, you've seen a lot of good players. Morgan Bryant's got to rank right up there.
No question. And in every aspect of her game, I mean, she's not just a great playmaker, she's a great goal scorer. And it's not like she can just score goals with her feet, she can score goals with her head. She understands the rhythm of the game. She's just an absolutely fantastic player. And if that's the kind of player we're going to start developing at a youth level, I mean, our opportunity to continue this run as the dominant team in international soccer is safe, because that is the archetype of the sort of player that we'd love to develop consistently at a youth level. Yeah, she's magnificent.
She was neck and neck last year with Crystal Dunn, who won it the year before, as we take a look at the Mac Hermann Trophy winners that have won for Anson Dorrance and the UNC Tar Heels. Some great names as you look at it there, led by Crystal Dunn in 2012. But how about Mia Hamm, Christine Lilly, Shannon Higgins, Cindy Parlow? Talk about those players.
Yeah, what a privilege to be able to coach players at that level. And those young women just took games over. They won for us. Whenever we were in trouble, we could give a ball to one of them, and all of a sudden the game would change. And obviously Morgan Bryant is the same kind of player for Virginia.
Kat Reddick and Tisha Venturini also on that list. We take a look here now at the winners since 2005 of the Mac Hermann Trophy, as they combine the award around that time, a few years before it as well. And of course, we know that Morgan Bryant won it last year. Crystal Dunn won it the year before, and always great players in the women's college soccer scene.
No question. And, you know, we've got to tip our hat to Abby Dahlkamper. She helped UCLA obviously win that championship, so maybe a championship team might have the Mac Hermann Award winner this year.
All right, as we bring back Anson Dorrance here in the Continental Tire Studios in Chapel Hill, it is that time to break out the preseason watch list for the Mac Hermann Trophy. And we'll start, of course, with goalkeepers, and just a couple goalkeepers making the list as we show you now, and including a star player for Shelley Smith at South Carolina, Sabrina D'Angelo.
Yes. Now, I've never seen Sabrina play. I have seen the UCLA goalkeeper play. She's a part of our adventure at a U20 level. Obviously, I think she would probably be in the driver's seat in goal because of UCLA's success. But the only way we could detract from her is if she doesn't have enough shots on her, not enough pressure. And UCLA has the kind of team this year where, you know, honestly, not too many teams are going to be able to shoot on her. So maybe another goalkeeper can sneak in there. So we'll see.
There's Caitlin Rowland. There's Sabrina D'Angelo. She was a semifinalist for the 2013 Hermann Award. Both of them seniors. D'Angelo at South Carolina for Shelley Smith, and of course Caitlin Rowland with a national championship in hand at UCLA. Now we'll switch it to defenders, and you mentioned great defenders at West Virginia, and of course Kadisha Buchanan, the sophomore at West Virginia, another Canadian, very good for Nikki Izzo-Brown.
Yes, and honestly, the way a defender makes it is either if she scores a lot of goals on a good team, or if her team, you know, wins championships or gets to the Final Four. So this again is where Dahlkamper, I think, is in the driver's seat playing at UCLA. So unless another defender starts scoring a heck of a lot of goals, that would probably be the best defender to place back into this hunt for the Mac Hermann.
Yeah, you're taking a good look there now at Abby Dahlkamper, the senior, who in front of the talented Caitlin Rowland, a formidable defense as they celebrate last year winning the College Cup in Amanda Cromwell's first year. What a great kickoff season for Amanda Cromwell. Others on the list: Caroline Dwyer, Jade Seabrook, Megan Strait at Texas A&M, Kristen Westphal, and then how about Jaylene Hinkle, a defender from Texas Tech. Tom Stone will go to West Virginia to be featured on NSCAA TV, and Tom Stone always produces great players.
Yeah, Tommy Stone is an excellent coach, and he's also developed a great program there. We watched them play because the weekend that they had to play here, it was a 4-game weekend, so we saw them play Texas A&M. Texas A&M took them out, but I was very impressed with the way Tommy's team played, and I think he's certainly going to have another very good team this year.
All right, that is the defenders here as part of the 2014 Women's Mac Hermann watch list. Let's go now to the midfielders on the list. And of course, Jessie Ayers, a senior from Colorado College, doesn't get a whole lot of national recognition, but she makes it. As you take a look at it here, Colorado College, a very good program.
Well, you know, historically, a lot of people might not even know this, but they were a team that was consistently in the Final Four back in the day. And they've got a beautiful little campus, and I know it's a very positive campus to recruit for. So I'm not surprised they've attracted a player of this caliber that has a shot at the Mac Hermann.
We know just about all there is to know about Morgan Bryant. She won it last year. Another fantastic player in Florida State is Dagny Brinjar's daughter. Very good for Mark Krikorian.
Unquestionably. And you know what? They had to rely on her to do most of their scoring. And so that's a player that obviously Mark can rely on again. I think she'll have a little bit more help this year. But what a magnificent player. A great finisher, obviously good in the air with her size. Not as good at distributing as Morgan Bryant or with the pace to beat players, but finishing, strength, decision-making, extraordinary.
Boy, another fine Cavalier for Steve Swanson, though. Danielle Colaprico, very good in the midfield.
Absolutely, and this is what makes Morgan Bryant such a problem, because it's not like you can focus entirely on her and ignore the rest of the Virginia team. They've got all kinds of weapons, and so this is certainly another one for Steve.
Daphne Corboz from Georgetown, Shea Groom from Texas A&M, Sarah Killian again from UCLA, Luelle Labonta from Stanford, and this player, when Notre Dame played at North Carolina last year, the job that Carrie Riccaro did on Crystal Dunn pretty much the entire game, except when you got a goal robbed away when she definitely scored one. I thought she was magnificent.
I totally agree. In fact, if Carrie Riccaro were in the defense, I think she would challenge the Canadian for one of the top defenders in the country, along with Abby Dahlkamper. So I have huge respect for Riccaro. And also, Notre Dame has played her in every line. I think they played her up front a bit. She scored some goals. Obviously, they can play her holding midfield, which is what I assume this is, with her in midfield. But as a center back for the U.S. U20 team, she's one of our best players. She's an absolute rock.
And then finally, the end of the midfield list here is Havana Solon, the senior for Becky Burley down in Florida. All right, Anson, finally the forwards. Usually forwards walk away as well with the Mac Hermann Trophy, and we've got some great forwards. They've scored a lot of goals on this list. We start with Janine Becky, the junior from Texas Tech.
I didn't see her play enough because we were in our pregame, but I saw Texas Tech enough to know that they have talent all over the field. And if this is the forward they're throwing forward as a Mac Hermann watch list individual, then rest assured she's outstanding.
Rachel Daly scored a ton of goals last year for St. John's, came in from England, was among the goal-scoring leaders all season long. She was a poacher. She can run. She can do it all.
And you know what? The players that they've sent us that have gone on to play at an incredibly high level internationally, the famous Kelly Smith at Seton Hall, another incredible English player that came over and dominated college soccer. And look at the caliber of the English players in the NWSL right now. Kim Little is just taking over. She's the leading scorer right now in the Pro League, so I'm sure this is another outstanding English woman in our game.
How good does Mackenzie Doniak make Morgan Bryant?
Well, the thing that Mackenzie is so good at is finding that seam for the final pass. I mean, the thing that sets Morgan Bryant apart is the final pass. She can find absolutely anyone, and Doniak runs at the line incredibly well. I mean, the pass between those two, between Bryant and Doniak, have toppled my team, I think, on 3 or 4 separate occasions. And so I think she's an extraordinary striker.
Last year, Vanessa DiBernardo was hurt for most of the year for former player years Janet Rayfield at Illinois, but in steps Janelle Flaws, and Janelle Flaws, buckets of goals in Big Ten action.
Well, again, that's Janet Rayfield at work. She's an extraordinary coach. And we saw DiBernardo because actually we played them in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago. And so if this is a player in that vein, rest assured Janet's got another excellent midfield general.
Erin Gillian from Kentucky, Summer Green from North Carolina. Another player from England who plies her trade at Hofstra is Leah Galton, the junior, another great player from England. And then we go to, as you take a look at Leah Galton right here, the junior from England, 2013 All-Region as well. Good stuff at Hofstra. What about Summer Green, though?
I love Summer Green. She's one of the most creative players we've ever recruited. When she gets the ball in the attacking third, she can do absolutely anything. She can basically create her own shot. I know that's a basketball term, but I sort of like using that in soccer. She's just so deceptive. And she can strike the ball with power with both feet, and I just love watching her play.
All right, Sofia Huerta, the forward from Santa Clara, who plays for Jerry Smith. Brandy Chastain also out there. Real talented player here for the Broncos.
Unquestionably. We saw them, I think, in our first game last year, and she was absolutely outstanding. Very good on the ball, very good at holding it, very deceptive, plays a very sophisticated level of the game, as all of Jerry Smith's teams do, and I'm sure she will have another outstanding season.
Darian Jenkins, UCLA, Savannah Jordan, as Anson Dorrance talked about Savannah early, about Becky Burley's chances for Florida. They'll flow through the talented sophomore. Mackenzie Meehan for Boston College. Boston College under Coach Foley has a nice program.
She's done an incredible job, and I heard some horrible news. I heard from Summer Green, who stopped by to see me before she left for the U20 World Cup, said that Mackenzie may have done some damage to her Achilles tendon from a mirror accident. So I don't know all the details in that, but I know a player of that caliber being out of the lineup at Boston College is going to be very difficult to overcome, and she's wonderful. I watched her play, and all those kids actually, Meehan, Jordan, Doniak, all these kids that are playing on a very talented U20 national youth team that are playing basically right now in Canada, and these are incredible strikers.
Back to the West Coast, Taylor Ewell, a transfer from Minnesota a year ago, comes out to Stanford. She can flat out put the ball in the back of the net. And then you've got Hannah Wilkinson. As you first look at Ewell right here, when she gets around the goal, she'll finish, Coach.
Yeah, that's a tragedy because, of course, we're playing them soon. So, yeah, I hate watching this clip. But, yeah, we're going to have to figure out a way to slow her down because, yes, she's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, you will see a lot of number 27 here on Friday, August 22nd as Stanford comes into Chapel Hill. And then Hannah Wilkinson, the senior from Tennessee by way of New Zealand. She's got some speed. They'll go to Virginia to play the Cavaliers early on.
Yeah, we recruited her and lost her to Tennessee, and she's outstanding. I mean, everything I've seen from her, she's not just big, she plays big. She's very strong, she's powerful, she's good in the air, she's good with her back to goal, she's got some pace, she strikes the ball well with both feet. Yeah, she's going to be a handful.
Finally, Lynn Williams, a senior forward from Pepperdine, rounds out the list. As you take a look here at Lynn Williams, an impressive list here as part of the 2014 NSCAA College Women's Mac Hermann Award watch list. And Anson, we started already. I feel like you're already giving it to Morgan Bryan. If the ball doesn't fall the right way, any other sleepers here to win this one?
Well, you know, I think all of us as coaches have a tendency to give it to a player on a championship team. If UCLA is an overwhelming favorite this year and completely dominates their opponents in every game, I think there'll be consideration for some of the coaches to vote for a player off of Amanda's roster. But it's going to be difficult. I mean, Morgan Bryan is already a part of the U.S. full national team. Obviously, the full national team coaches can pick anyone in the country. These are people with a clue about, you know, talent and the potential for their development. I think that's the only way that Morgan won't win it. Now, obviously, I think what derailed Dunn was an injury, because I think Dunn would have been in the running against Morgan Bryan last year if she hadn't gotten hurt. So I think what might derail Morgan Bryan is an injury or an incredible performance from the UCLA team where all the coaches feel, you know what, this is one of the best teams in the country, and they're clearly dominant. Maybe we should reward that sort of dominance.
Finally here, you're here, Anson, not because you're the UNC coach, as you said before you came on, but because of your love and affinity for the NSCAA. Your final comments on what that organization has meant to you?
Well, you know, I've been a member of it my entire coaching life, and the thing I absolutely love about the organization, it's one of the organizations that truly just promotes the game. Even this show, I mean, this is about promoting the game. And I think all of my colleagues in the NSCAA have the same feeling. We think the women's collegiate game in the United States is extraordinary. If you look at the success of the countries who, I guess, give athletes to the college game in the United States, the women's college game, it's basically the United States and Canada, and now to a small extent Mexico. Look at the success that the Canadians and the United States have had on an international level. And if you look at the rosters of these two countries and their successes in the last couple World Cups and the Olympics, almost every one of those players played at a high Division I level in the United States. And I think that just shows the health of the collegiate game in the United States for women, and I'm incredibly proud of it. The NSCAA has helped us build this through their excellent coaching schools, but also for the way they cultivate and promote the game. And I'm just very proud to be a part of this organization.
Coach, thanks for being with us. Thanks for all you do.
My pleasure. Thank you.
The legendary Anson Dorrance joining us here on the 2014 NSCAA Women's Division I preseason rankings and Hermann watch list. We come back, we'll show you the impressive schedule lined up for you this year on NSCAA TV. And, of course, all of it brought to you by Continental Tire.
The NSCAA convention to me is probably the best place to get any sort of education of a wide variety that you can go in the world.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm ready to go on.
Super excited.
Pretty excited.
Oh, super excited, yes.
Now I'm excited to just be a part of it and experience it all, take it all in.
At Lumber Liquidators, we buy direct from the mills, giving us an incredible selection of hardwood floors at unheard-of prices. Right now, choose from over 150 hardwoods on sale, including popular wide plank prefinished red oak for just $179. Red oak makes it gorgeous, wide plank makes it stylish, and we've got it for 55% less than other stores. Plus, get an amazing 20% off our best laminate and vinyl flooring. Incredible deals on beautiful bamboo, hardwood, and laminate, and 12-month special financing. Hurry at these unbelievable sale prices. These deals won't last long, so get to your local Lumber Liquidators now.
Charlie Slagle, now a member of the NSCAA Executive Board, 21 years at Davidson, including an amazing run in the early 90s all the way to the College Cup, and of course 12 years as the top man of the Capital Area Soccer League. And he joins me as promised in studio. Charlie, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us all year. Last year you did a great job. Welcome back.
Thanks, Dean. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Fun hearing Anson Dorrance break down women's college soccer, isn't it?
He knows some things about women's college soccer and has won a lot of games.
Yeah, 22 national championships. And we teased it earlier, Charlie, incredible schedule. Rob Kehoe, the job he's done last year and now this year. Let's take a look at what we're bringing you. The 20 live games on NSCAA TV. And he always finds a way to also bring in new teams, as Utah Valley now, Division I under Greg Moss. They will open up against UMass, which also gives us a chance to tip our hat to, of course, the great Coach Koch.
Yeah, Sam Koch passed away this summer, and unfortunately lost a battle with cancer. And he was very good for the game. Got to the Final Four about 5 years ago.
Well, these are the women's broadcasts. We'll show you first as well. Illinois State and Boston College in Normal, Illinois, and then William and Mary in Richmond. John Daly, a longtime NSCAA member.
And Peter Albright, that's a backyard brawl. They just have to go up I-64 and they'll be right there.
UVA and Tennessee. Steve Swanson, a team that could win the national championship against Brian Penske in Tennessee.
Battling for the orange there. In fact, quick trip down or up I-81 to get from Tennessee and Knoxville to Charlottesville.
UConn will have their hands full with Florida State. They could be back in the College Cup.
Right, Florida State's awfully good, but they're playing in stores, and there's a storied tradition in stores.
West Virginia, Texas Tech. Nikki, Izzo Brown, Tom Stone.
It should be a very good game, and playing up there in the stadium, which is a great place to play up in Morgantown.
And finally, Ohio U and Miami is part of the NSCAA Scripps School of Journalism tie-in. How about the men's broadcast? We started talking about that Utah Valley and UMass game already, and we certainly send our best to the family of Coach Koch as well. And then West Virginia, Marlon LeBlanc, welcome in Virginia Tech.
Right, and Virginia Tech, West Virginia should be a very good game. They have to go, Virginia Tech has to go up to West Virginia, and should be a battle. And West Virginia, I think it should be a very, very tight game.
Always a big crowd at Ludwig Field for Sasso Soroski in Maryland.
And Pete Caringi brings in UMBC, and this is a backyarder. It's the small guy versus the big guy, and UMBC had a great year last year, and with the Caringi's father-son combination.
Ken Lola at Louisville, what a job he's done there. Has a brand new stadium. He went to Duke, starred at Duke, and they start ACC play against John Kerr and the Blue Devils.
I believe it's two coaches that were Hermann Trophy winners and playing against each other, and that should be great. Louisville, a brand new stadium. I've heard it's MLS quality.
Seattle will welcome in UConn. Chris Norris replaced Al Albert at William & Mary. The Tar Heels visit Williamsburg. Not an easy place to win.
No, it is not an easy place, and North Carolina seems to play William & Mary every year. And then on Friday, September 20th, UCSB hosting UCLA. Probably be about 15,000 people there. As we've mentioned before, when UCSB scores, the tortillas come from the stands. It is a wild, wild time.
Tim Baumsteak, Jorge Salcedo, and then Dustin Fonder at High Point, and UNC Asheville's Matt Kern. You know those two teams pretty well.
Know them very well. I know Matt Kern very well, and Dustin, but it's at High Point. High Point Stadium is beautiful, as is their campus.
And then finally, 5 more games. Again, great job by Rob Keel and the NSCAA. Bucknell under Brendan Nash taking on Bob Warming in Penn State. Never easy for the Nittany Lions to go to Lewisburg.
No, it is not, and it's not very far up the road, and it's going to be at Bucknell. Brendan Nash does a good job, and Bob Warming does a great job at Penn State, too.
Richie Grant leaving Memphis to take over CSU Bakersfield, and he will face the longtime coach at CSU Bakersfield, Simon Tobin, who moves over to San Jose State.
A good West Coast game. As we mentioned earlier in the men's show, it was a great, the California teams and the West Coast teams are very strong, and those are 2 of them. Then you have Greg Andrulis versus George Gelnevach. Another close game, just about an hour away from each other at Fairfax, Virginia. Should be a very good game with that George Mason, Virginia. And then UConn Tulsa in Stores. So 2 games, a women's game and a men's game, will be played in Stores, Connecticut.
Charlie Slagle, you're now on the executive board for the NSCAA. College soccer has been so important to the NSCAA. So many years on Fox Soccer. That goes away. In comes NSCAA TV. And now this amazing schedule blows me away.
It is very good. The schedule is there. It's great to be able to watch college soccer when you need to. The one thing about having it on NSCAA TV is you can pull it up a couple hours later in the night or in the next day and see what you need to see. And great soccer, men's soccer, unbelievable parity, especially on the Division I level. Women's soccer is getting there much better. The ACC still dominates, but it's going to be a fun season.
All right, we're just getting rolling this year on NSCAA TV. We have more preseason ranking shows coming to you as well as we take a look at the schedule coming up. Tomorrow, Division II, August 7th, and then Division III. This is for men and women in both 2 and 3. And then we'll break down Division I and 3 for NJCAA on Monday, right here on NSCAA TV. Of course, this show and all of the games that we just showed you are brought to you by Continental Tire. Innovative technology, driving confidence. Learn more at ContinentalTire.com. I want to thank Charlie Slagle and Anson Dorrance, the great staff out in Kansas City for the NSCAA, led by Joe Cummings, Chris Bird as well. You see the list. Kathleen Hermish doing a great job as well with all the graphics. Producer Kyle Lang and Taylor Hoggard, UNC Media, as well as coordinated it all as Amanda Dinkel. Could not get it done without the great SIDs as well. And of course, the Missouri Athletic Club, Jim Wilson, doing a great job. Finally, to learn more about the NSCAA, visit nscaa.com. I'm Dean Linke on behalf of everyone here in the Continental Tire Studios in Chapel Hill and in our Kansas City headquarters. Thank you for watching NSCAA TV.